Yeah. Episode 183. We hitting the record this week. The latest I've ever been. You know what I'm saying? We stay breaking records. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm later than ever. Let's start the show. Yeah, good things come to those who wait. And I'm a good thing, and I'm about to come. Pause. No Diddy. You know what it is, another episode of the Victory Talk podcast. This is episode 138. Damn, we've been doing this shit, man. You know what I'm saying? I am your host, Big Brandon Carter, BBC, King Keto, the king of ketosis, Gymnasium Jesus, Jesus de Gimnasio Padamiente. And I'm joined by the best producer in the game / co-host, the homie Nima. What up?
Super excited. I'm super good, man. Super pumped with this episode.
Nima's editing all the videos and shit. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Yo, we just put up a new vlog, day in the life video. Nima edited it and filmed half of it. The rest of it was filmed with my GoPro vlogging, vloggy style. I was hitting it vloggy style with the GoPro. You know what I'm saying? y'all need to go watch that after this. But right now, watch this because it's live. All right, that's just gonna be on the internet forever. All right, I'm also joined. We're also joined by Minovia. You know what I'm saying? Minovia in La Casa. You heard? You know what I'm saying? She's gonna be, monitoring the chats. Anybody get out of hand, they get kicked out, banished, exiled forever. You don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Out here talking crazy. You know what I'm saying? God ain't gonna bless you for how you spread the negativity. You know what I'm saying? You blocking your blessings, but you also gonna get blocked from this shit by her, right? And she's gonna be reading your super chats. Speaking of super chats, we have a sponsor, Nima.
Yeah. Really? Tell me more.
Yeah, we got Thought Repellent. This is the easy to apply spray to keep the hose away. This is a product we've been trying to launch this thing. We've been working on launching this since, was it last year?
It's been 2 years.
2 years.
The second year,
right?
Yeah.
But you know how much research this is like genetically engineered to repel thoughts, right? So regular women, they'll smell it. They'll be like, you smell amazing. You smell like I should have your babies. I should have your black babies tonight. Can you impregnate me? That's what they'll smell when they're like good women that you wouldn't mind putting a black baby inside of, But the thoughts, it's genetically engineered to repel the DNA of thoughts, sluts, hoes, hoe sluts, slut hoes, skanks, skeezers, Jezebels, all right, scallywags, and recently we've added hood rats. That formula was difficult to formulate, but we had a team of Iranian scientists who got it together. We had to do it in Iran because a lot of people died during the testing. Get the formula right, man.
They can't talk about.
We can't even talk about it, man. But when I found out in Iran, with enough money, you do almost anything. And that's what we found out the hard way. Pause. And now we're ready to bring it to America. Right? We're able to bring this to America, but we need your help. All your super chats go towards development of Thought Repellent. If we get enough super chats, we can have this out by spring break. You know how many young men we can save from thoughts? Many. if we have this out by spring break, that's a super spreader event. When I say super spreader, there's gonna be thoughts in there super spreading their legs. And you're gonna be tempted. How you gonna even stop yourself, right? But you won't need you was like, I know I shouldn't fuck this dirty skank, but I'm so horny, right? But if you got on thought repellent, you won't have to worry about that, right? Because she won't want to be next to you because it smells like responsibility and accountability. And thoughts, they hate that shit, right? So if we get in a super chest, we'll have this out by spring break. I think this is what Dr. King was talking about when he had the dream speech. I think this is what he was talking about. And I think a hero has already contributed to the fun. Let's acknowledge this brother.
We have Calvin. I'm working 70 to 80 hours a week with 2 jobs while trying to start my fitness personal brand. I have 30K on IG. Any advice? Should I quit a job or schedule?
Classic Calvin. That's Calvin, if I ever said it, right? Classic Calvin. First of all, man, let's stop saying trying, right? We ain't try babies over here. Or if you trying, you lying. All right. So let's take that out of your, just remove that from your vernacular. Effective immediately. All right. Calvin. All right. And I'm gonna help you out, man. 1, because you gave me $5, and 2, my son's best friend is named Calvin. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's the same kid. I don't know his last name, and I don't want to know it. Anyway, what you should, first of all, shout out to you working that many hours a week. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. That's what we talking about. Work hard. Fuck all that shit, man. People clown me. People make fun of me. They make YouTube videos talking shit about, he's saying work 80 hours a week, but blah, 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 blah. I'm a bitch. He's saying, Brandon's saying tell you to work 80 hours a week, but we bitches. We bitch niggas. How we gonna work 80 hours a week? We bitch niggas and hoes. Right? But use the real one, Calvin. So that's what's up, man. I don't even want to read that, man. Yeah, that is giving try baby energy. is giving try baby energy. So you did a good job building your fitness, your personal brand. 30K is good. Listen, this is what I want you to do, Calvin. I want you to download in the description. There's a link in the description called the 10 Commandments of Online Training, right? Because there is enough money. Okay, because check this out. Check this out. Calvin, you listen to me. All you need is 25 clients to make over 100K a year as an online trainer, right? So let's say for simple math, there's different pricing structures that I break down for my students and everything. Download the ebook, you'll learn more about the 10 Commandments of Online Training. It's free, right? But let's just check the lowest one, $80 a week. You charge your clients $80 a week. That's way cheaper than what in-person client in-person trainer costs. In-person training, they want motherfucking, like, the average is about $100 per session. So if you have to see this motherfucker at least 3 times a week, which you should, right? Now you're paying $300 a week. And that in-person training is not even going to help these motherfuckers. Not even going to help them with their goddamn diet. They're going to give them some diet advice. Hey man, eat this, blah, 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 blah. But like, they're not really going to give them, they're not going to be helping them track their macros every day, keeping them accountable, right? That's what we do. That's what an online trainer is supposed to do, right? And that's what I talk about in the book. Go ahead and download it. It's free, right? Let's say you had 25 clients and you kept the average of 25 clients for a year. You're not going to have 100% retention for a year. So you're going to lose some, you're going to gain some, but if you keep the average of 25 clients for 1 year, which is not fucking crazy at all, at $80 a week, right? 52 weeks, that's a whole year, right? Unless it's a leap year. Right, but 52 weeks, that equals $104,000 per year, Calvin. $104,000 per year, Calvin. You feel me? You feel me? That's big money, man. That's big money. Now you're making as much as like a doctor, like a brand new doctor just out of his residency, but you ain't got to cut nobody open and ain't nobody sneezing on you. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no crying babies, none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? All right. And should you quit your job? I would say, don't. This is when I tell everybody quit the job. Wait till whatever you're doing on the side is making as much money as your job, and you have 6 months of expenses saved up. Right. This way you have 2 cushions. One, you have the cushion of the income from your training business, right? But you also have the cushion of, if shit just really hits the fan, you have just money, and you can live off if you need it. And hopefully you'll never need that money, right? You put yourself in the best position to see. So don't shit your job until then, right? And how do you find time to get the content? Brother, what you need to do is start scheduling time in your calendar, 80 hours a week. If you work 80 hours a week, boom, just 136 hours in every week. 136 hours in every week, brother. Listen to me, pay attention, right? If you sleep 8 hours a night, that's 56 hours per night, right? So now we still got 112 hours each week, right? Minus 80 from your work, you still got 32 hours a week left, brother. 30. Nima's Asian, so he's gonna figure it out. He's gonna check my math, but he's not like a. Yeah, he's not a karate Asian. He a sand Asian. A Middle Eastern Asian. That's where the sand comes from. That's where I wasn't being racist. That's where sand comes from. Am I wrong?
We got lots of sand.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. And
sand and oil.
You know what's underneath that sand? Oil, dead dinosaurs. So he's not a math Asian. He's a
sand and oil.
He's an oil Asian. That's because the Middle East is on the continent of Asia. We're learning a lot today here on Victory Talk already. We're already learning a lot. You know what I'm saying? Oil Asian. Does that sound less racist?
Yeah. I wish I was oil Asian, actually.
I wish you were too, man.
Yeah. Oil money. I mean,
I'd give anything for you to be an oil Asian, man. You know how happy I'd be if I had an oil Asian friend. If you're an oil Asian watching this, send me a DM on Instagram, man. We can be friends. I know how you like to call them hoes from Miami to shit on you. I can facilitate that. I'll find you some hoes that will let you shit on them. You know what I'm saying? It'd be, and in turn, you can invest in any crazy fucking idea I come up with. It'll be a symbiotic relationship. What are we talking about? Oh, we're talking to Calvin. Right. You still got 32 hours left, homie. What you got to do, all you got to do is you got to start, because I was doing the same shit. Nigga, I was doing the same shit. I was working that many hours a week and I was building my online fitness business and I was making content for YouTube, long form content. You talking about 1 minute Instagram reels. Nigga. I was making long ass YouTube videos, man. And so you can do it. I don't know if you got kids and shit. I ain't had no kids back then. Pull out. Feel me, Nima? This guy knows what I'm talking about.
Feel you.
All right. Haram, Nima. See, I caught you. That was a setup. That was a setup. All right. But like even now, you just schedule every hour of every day in your calendar. You will find the time, homie. You will find the time. Oh, shit. Every hour of every day in your calendar. That's what my shit look like. Let me let it get the focus.
You're focused now.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how you get the time, brother. And you might have to sacrifice some bullshit, right? Don't sacrifice your health. I said sleep 8 hours a night. You still go to the gym, do all that shit. But you sacrifice, I wasn't going to basketball games and I'm black. Right? I wasn't watching sports and I'm black, right? You know what I'm saying? I wasn't going to no barbecues. I wasn't going to parties. I was working, sleeping, working out, and fucking building my brand. And that's what you should do, Playboy. You can do it. You tough. And I ain't even have internet, chat, GPT, all the other shit, man. You know what I'm saying? All right. We got another super chat. Then I want to get into the lessons for today. But shout out to you, Calvin. Download the ebook, The 10 Commandments of Online Training.
We have Kels. Hi, Brandon. As an online trainer, why do you consider WAP a better choice than Trainerize? What unique features does WAP have that Trainerize lacks?
No, there's no better. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. You know, Trainerize is probably is fine if you want to train your clients. Trainerize, any of those fucking platforms are fine. WAP is a payment processor as well, right? So you could some people, especially if they other countries, they can't use Trainerize Pay, right? So like, you know, I have clients. Like I do online training, so I have clients all over, right? And you can't use Trainerize Pay outside of the United States, right? It just won't work for them. So just to consolidate everything, I run my payments on for my online training business, you know, for me, because I still train some people. I run all the payments through WAP as a payment processor, but I train all of my clients I train all my clients on my own app. It's just like its own proprietary app. You can't just get it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can download it, but you won't have access to nothing. You know what I'm saying? And it's basically like Trainerize. I made that through Trainerize. All right. It's just a payment processor, you know, that it works all the time. All right. So listen, for the last 2 victory talks, I've been victory talking about the 20 lessons I wish I learned. Huh? I've been talking about the 40 lessons I wish I learned in my when I was 20. Right, when I was in my 20s, and I only victory talked about the first 27. The last 2 episodes. Damn, no, young candlesticks here. We don't even got time to get into it. Is he ready? Is he ready to go? All right, let's victory talk about some of the lessons. All right, so the number 28 lesson I wish I learned in my 20s was that your emotions are your responsibility. Right? So earlier we talked about how you can control other people's emotions, right? And how you can impact other people's emotions, and we talked about how the emotions, we talked about how the decisions people make are based off the emotions they feel when they're making the decision, right? So, you know, somebody's hungry, it's like super hungry, they feel emotion, or somebody wants something really bad, they might steal something, right? Because they feel some sort of emotion. Or somebody's really angry and they might do or say something they don't agree with, right? I mean, somebody may be really angry and they do or say something they wouldn't have said if they were in a calmer state, right? So even though other people in outside events can have the ability to impact your emotions, you cannot blame your emotions or your behavior on others, no matter what, right? You have to take responsibility for your own emotions, right? So a lot of times people say shit to me like, oh man, money won't make you happy. You know, when I talk about making money, I'm talking about working hard. Man, you can work all hard, but money won't make you happy. And I said, who the fuck was talking about being happy? Right? Being happy and financial success are 2 different fucking subjects, right? They don't have nothing to do with each other, right? You can be happy, and I've seen poor people who are happy. I've seen rich people who are sad, and vice versa. I've seen homeless people dance in the street. I saw a homeless nigga take off his shoes on Queens Boulevard and start dancing in the middle of the street, right? He was super happy, right? I know rich people who killed themselves. I know poor people who killed themselves. I know, you know what I'm saying? Like money's job is not to make you happy. Money's job is to be exchanged for goods and services. That's all money can do. Your emotions are your responsibility, not an inanimate object like money, dipshit. It's not money's job to make you happy. Hey, it's not anyone's job to make you happy. It's not anything's job to make you happy. You know what I'm saying? Your emotions are your responsibility, right? You can be happy under any circumstances within reason, within reason. It's all about because emotions are not even real. And when I say real, they're like the Webster definition of real. Let me look it up real quick, just so I know. Real. Yeah, you can share screen. Real. Actually occurring, in fact, not imagined or supposed. Emotions only happen in your fucking head. It's literally just, it's almost imagination, right? It's not real, as in it's not tangible. Emotions are literally all in your head. All an emotion is happiness, sadness, anger, fear. They're just different combinations of neurotransmitters, neurochemicals going off your brain. These these chemicals include, but are not limited to, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, norepinephrine, right? These different combinations of neurochemicals in your brain are what emotions are. It's literally all in your head. So why would you put that responsibility on someone? Why would you give someone else the power to control what happens in your brain? Why would you give an outside circumstance the ability to control why would you give outside circumstances or someone else the ability to control what's going on in your brain? You get what I'm saying? Right? Your emotions are your responsibility. So yeah, money won't make you happy. Nothing should make you happy or make you sad. You need to learn how to control your own emotions, regardless of circumstances, within reason, right? Motherfuckers get shot, you get your arm chopped off, your fucking best friend gets kidnapped. Yeah, you're gonna feel an emotion, right? Reserve that for like big events like that, right? Not someone cut you off in traffic. Not I missed my plane, not my team lost the fucking game, right? Don't let all the fucking bullshit control your emotions. You have to be stoic, right? You have to be in control of your emotions. And the more you can learn how to separate your emotions from your circumstances, the better you'll be. Because what's the alternative? The alternative is that you let everyone else and everything else control your emotions, and now you're not in control. You're literally not in control of yourself, because you have to remember the decisions people make are based off the emotions they feel when the decision people make are based off the emotions they feel when they make the decision. All right. So, right. I know. I got some friends who are doing life in prison, right? They killed some people, right? They were feeling an emotion of anger, rage, and they pulled out the blick and got the blasting, right? Had they been in a different mental state, they would have made a different decision. They'd still be free men. They'd be hanging out with their kids right now. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can't let other people control your emotions, because to a certain extent, they'll control your decisions. And what you definitely can't do is say, he made me sad, or I did this because he made me feel this way. I behaved like this because she made me feel this way, or he made me feel this way. It's like, that's soft as fuck. You need to be in control of your own emotions. You definitely have to be in control of your own behavior. Otherwise, you're not in control of your life. All right. If you like that one, I got about 10 more of these lessons that I wish I knew when I was 30, but in my 20s. But first, we got to jump into the market update with the
What's
Greg
up,
Young Candlestick. Let's get into this market update.
There's always a lot to talk about when it comes to the stock market.
Come on, man.
Basically, the question we're going to be answering is, will the market bounce, or is the market going to continue crashing? Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, what I have on the screen right now, on the left side, I have a chart of gold, and on the right side, I have a chart of the SPY, the S&P 500. What are the differences and similarities that you see?
Well, at first they seemed to be in congruence with each other, but now there's a divergence, Greg.
Yep, that is exactly correct. A divergence means one's going one way, the other's going the other way. Before they were converging. And basically gold is now hitting all-time highs. We talked about this on Tuesday, didn't we?
Yeah,
we talked
about that.
We talked about this bullish breakout over 270 on the GLD ETF, and now it's making all-time highs on a spike in volume.
Didn't you say it? Didn't you say I think I have it written down. You said you liked calls on GLD or preferably GLX.
Yep, GLD or GDX. Yep, GDX.
I wrote it down from last week. All y'all had to do is listen to Victory Listen to Victory Talk, and you'd be making some bread, right? You'd be making some bread. What do we have to do to get them to listen to us so they can make some money? That's all we be saying.
You know, I can't trade your account for you. Yes.
Can't do it for you. I can't do it for you. You got to pass that test first.
Yeah. we'll keep it under wraps for now.
Yeah, then you can then I'm gonna let you victory trade my account too. You know.
Yeah, you can log into the app and you can see your account. Yeah. And deposit, withdraw whenever you want. That's for the future. Basically, GDX really did much better than gold. GDX is up 3.3%, while GLD is up about 1.78, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're trading call options, you can make some good money off of these.
Time out. Minovia, preparado un agua para mí, por favor.
Gotta stay hydrated.
Yeah, I'm saying, you bilingual too.
Yep.
You bilingual too.
You know what I'm saying? It's easier to understand than it is to speak.
De nada. All right, let's go.
Basically, what's happening with the SPY, though, is good news is now causing bad price reactions. So during the uptrend that we've been in for a long period of time, since last year of April, basically, whenever there's bad news, the market just rallied. Bad news, market rallied. Market didn't give a shit what the news was saying. But on Wednesday, we had the CPI inflation report. And basically what had happened in the CPI inflation report was that inflation is cooling, but the market didn't really have a bullish or positive response. The market just kind of went sideways, and then today it just sold pretty much all day today. So we're kind of in a switching type of environment where good news is causing bad reactions, and we're just not catching a bid. Buyers aren't supporting up the market. There's like a perpetual sell program because there's a lot of intraday algorithms that are programmed to sell at certain prices. AI is trading the markets. So you're up against like a fleet of robots every time that you step into the trading ring. And so that's just really important to note that there's this perpetual sell, and good news is not as good as it could be. Like Microsoft got upgraded today by the firm Lurian, and there's no bounce. Usually when an analyst upgrades a stock, they usually are up 3%, 5%, 2%, 3%, 4% on the day, and Microsoft is down today. Long term, I do like Microsoft, but
I love Microsoft downtown, like on some fundamental shit. On the fundamentals, I agree with that I agree with that analyst. I upgraded it a long time ago.
I know,
right? Victory Talk, we upgraded Microsoft a long time ago. They late. They need the victory catch up.
It's a great stock, but the technical analysis just says lower highs and lower lows. There's just no buyers. Nobody's got the capital to really back up its fundamental value. And we've got these like topping patterns where you kind
of dollar cost averaging into that bitch now on my investment account.
This is not financial advice.
Not financial advice.
But that is a really good strategy. And I too am dollar cost averaging into Microsoft, SPY, QQQ. But I fully understand that there can be some pain while doing that.
I expect it.
Yeah, exactly.
I legit expect it. Yeah.
And that's why we don't want to try and always time bottoms, because if you try to time bottoms, you get those stinky fingers. You need to really, really let the market leading indicators show itself. So what would that look like? You need to see semiconductors start to turn up. Semiconductors are a leading indicator.
They need to get turned.
They need to get turned. They need to take some work out.
The semiconductors need to get turned. out
they
here.
need to do something, you know. They need a spike, they need a jolt, whatever it takes to get it up.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes.
Pause. Yeah, let's go.
IWM, Russell 2000. This is a leading indicator. Russell 2000 is getting absolutely shat on. If you ever want to hedge a portfolio, TZA is a triple levered ETF inverse to the IWM. So this goes up 3% when the IWM goes down 1%. And if you wanted to, you could wheel this because it's at that attractive price point. The options are nice and liquid, so you're not paying a lot to get in. You're not paying a lot to get out of any of those trades. So that's something to consider. And also Bitcoin's a leading indicator.
Bro, Bitcoin, right?
It's really not doing anything. It's not doing too much. It did bounce off of
that support, right? That's where I said that's where I said a few weeks ago. That's where I'd be down to buy, and I went and got some. I went and got some there.
Yeah,
I went and got some there for a long term.
Yeah, it's not a bad location, and from that price point, Bitcoin did rally 8.8%.
Oh yeah, I'm up on it.
Yeah, in Bitcoin land, you know, that's not a lot, but it's not nothing, you know, it's something to consider. So Bitcoin, still good for dollar cost averaging, but if you do ever want to hedge Bitcoin, take a look at MSTR. So MicroStrategy, now just called Strategy, they borrow money to just buy Bitcoin. That's their business model.
That's the business model.
That's their service to you.
That's the business model, yeah.
Yep. If MicroStrategy starts to take out this support of about 229, it could really break down, and that would be bearish for MicroStrategy. But if you ever want to hedge Bitcoin, take a look at MSTZ. This goes up at 2 times the rate that MSTR goes down. So vice versa, if MSTR goes up a lot, MSTZ is going to get clapped. MSTZ will be cooked. But if MicroStrategy really starts to break down, this could start to break out, and you could see this move up 30, 40, 50, 60% in just a few weeks. And so the option premiums are really high, which makes it lucrative for the wheel strategy. So it's kind of like a wheel to hedge a portfolio and give some cash flow. So that's just a potential idea moving forward. Last time on the Victory Talk podcast, Brandon, you called this out. BRK.
Oh, yo, before we go to BRK, I want you to look at the SPY is doing bad, right? But look at the equal weighted SPY, RSP.
Yeah. Yep, RSP. So what RSP does is it makes all of the components of SPY the same weight versus if you're just in SPY, you know, Amazon, Apple, Nvidia, Tesla, Google, those are going to have huge weights and it's going to be pretty top heavy. So that's going to influence the SPY. But yeah, the equal weight is also getting shafted.
Doesn't that look bad?
It does look bad. I was reading some reports and I was seeing some institutions that are going short on this, which is interesting. I don't know how that's going to play out. It's difficult for me to say, but notice the big bearish red volume. This tells us that sellers are in control. There's more interest on the sell side than there is on the buy side. So that is noteworthy. Where
that shows what the real S&P is really doing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's scary.
It is scary. And you got to take these things seriously. That's why we have multiple asset classes. That's why we have gold. That's why we have silver. That's why we have bonds. That's why we can trade oil. That's why we can trade other markets. Like you mentioned Germany the other day.
Yeah. You know, man, the Germans, they doing something crazy over there.
Like right now, the money's just kind of leaving small caps. It's leaving big cap tech stocks. And it's difficult to say how long that will last. And you have to assume that the trends will continue until they reverse. Okay, so that's critical to understand. So what is next? You know, when it comes to stocks and sectors that are in rotation, take a look at utilities. It's kind of boring, but basically the utilities sector, these are our essential services. You know, people are not going to turn off the lights. They're not going to shut off, you know, their electric grid. They always need this. So utilities might have some relative strength moving forward. It does also pay 3.2% per year. So that's utilities. Healthcare, XLV. It's going through some relative weakness. I'd be a little bit more neutral on this. But if you wanted to have somebody else do all the work for you, check out this ETF. It's called TAC. So it's a tactical sector ETF where they rotate into the leading sectors. And it's actually made by another CMT. So Katie Stockton, she graduated college. Then she pursued the CMT program. You need to have a college degree before you can become a CMT. And after that, she raised a ton of investor capital and she built this ETF. She's also hot. So like it's a plus, you know? So what's cool about the TAC ETF is that it's actively managed. So it tends to not draw down as much during market downturns. And if they manage the portfolio well, it could go through some relative strength on the upside. So that's one thing to look at. If you want to just stabilize your portfolio or just get into cash because you don't want to deal with all these market shenanigans, take a look at the SCHO ETF. So these are short-term treasuries. Basically, your money's just going to go sideways, but you'll get a guaranteed 4.2% a year. So it's basically like you're just placing in a money market fund. It's not exactly that, but you can sell this whenever you need. 4.2% a year, cash it in whenever you want. That's something to consider as well.
They just pay it in dividends?
Yep, they just pay it in dividends. I think it's quarterly, but I'd have to double check on that. So that's something if you just want to like get into cash and just have it sit there and collect some
SCHO?
SCHO. This is something I brought up early in the market correction. If you wanted to just protect a portfolio, there's something that you can do which is called the barbell strategy, which is perfect for us.
Okay, I like it. I like it already. I want to do it. Whatever it is, I want to do it.
The barbell strategy is where you put a lot of your portfolio in short-term treasuries or bonds or government bonds. And then the rest of your money, you mirror the S&P by buying like leap call options on SPY or leap call debit spreads. What it really does is it stabilizes the portfolio with that guaranteed 4.2%. But then if the SPY tends to go on a rally, then you've got a little bit of your capital making a ton of money. And if the SPY tanks, that's fine. You'll lose on those leap call options, those call debit spreads, whatever structure you use, but you'll get that guaranteed rate of return on the rest of your cash. So the barbell. And
you use SCHO for that.
You can, yeah. There's tons of different treasury bonds that you could do. There's different types of bonds that have different yields. For example, like the HYG, these are called junk bonds. They have super high yields, so they'll pay you a lot to hold on to them, but they are higher risk of credit default. So they can't pay back their investors. So I like SCHO. It's just simple. It's the Schwab short-term U.S. Treasury ETF, and then you can do it with S&P 500. That's a great way to just smooth everything out. It's going to mirror the SPY. No mess, no stress. That's an idea for long-term portfolios. But, I like to pick my stocks sometimes short-term, like Microsoft and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, man. We gamblers, man. All right, so like, remember we talked about silver? We was going to gamble on silver?
Yeah, I'm still long silver. I did take some profits today on silver, and I did nail the high of the day. I am still holding some of my call options, not the full position. I'm just riding with my profits. What's cool about these breakouts is this is a nice ascending triangle breakout. If you missed it on the way out, if it comes back in to retest, see if it holds, that's your buy entry.
Yeah, I did not take that XLE leap call. Remember I thought about doing XLE leaps.
XLE is just kind of stuck in the mud.
Yeah, but we talked about it and I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna talk to you in the morning, but good thing it didn't happen.
XLE, it pays a dividend. It's just not really going anywhere. And this ties in with oil prices right now. So oil.
Yeah, I want to talk about oil. Like specifically, I want to talk to you about because I own some, full disclosure, I own some USO.
Okay. You do?
So tell me what to do.
Oil does diversify a portfolio. To me, oil looks neutral / bearish. If it takes out these lows, oil could drop quite a bit.
But wait a minute. That is, but yo, that is that a falling wedge?
You could argue it definitely could be. I would say it's kind of like a little double bottom. There's the bottom, there's the highs, break above the highs, turn it into support. Boom, you're good to go. On a shorter term time frame, it could be a wedge where you make lower lows without a lot of follow through, but this was an equal low. Arguably, so typically like a wedge, you're kind of like pinching. It's kind of like a pizza.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And so you kind of get this vibration. It's making lower lows without a lot of follow through. It's taking out the stop losses of buyers, which is frustrating for buyers. And then it rips up. And then your buy point is when it starts to break the wedge up on an increase in volume. And then your stop loss goes underneath the lowest point of the wedge.
Mm-hmm.
But I would be
really getting into that action. Yeah.
I hope I'm not going against you too much, Brandon, but I'm long on SCO, which SCO goes up when oil goes down. So I've got SCO shares. I've got USO longer dated puts. I think over the next 30 to 60 days, oil might break down. If it doesn't, though, that means that the market might be able to stabilize a little bit better. Okay.
All right.
So those are the main things I wanted to talk about. Keep an eye on just those defensive, stable type stuff.
Oh, wait a minute. You were going to talk about that one stock I called out, Berkshire Hathaway.
Oh, yeah. We got to give you some praise, Brandon.
Come on, man. Yes, we can't look over my praise. You got to do it because I'm too humble to give myself praise. I'm like way too humble for that.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
We talked about a bunch of different trade setups on Tuesday, and we filtered them all out. And we're like, what about Berkshire? We're like, Berkshire's the best one. The best one out of all of those ideas. And as you can see, Berkshire didn't even get to support. It just broke out of that $500 per share. And boom. Yeah, I'd expect Berkshire to be neutral / bullish. As long as this trend line holds, it's strong. They're definitely doing something right over there.
Yeah, man. All right, IBIT. I know that's not just Bitcoin, right? This is the Bitcoin ETF because that's how I buy my Bitcoin because I like to sell options, right? Yep. It's almost like right at my buy spot. It's starting to consolidate there. It could, it's like that's right where I wanted to buy. That's like almost there, right?
I agree. It's just a messy chart. That's all I have. Really
it looks like fucking trash.
It's just ugly. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
I'm like shuddering whenever I look at it. I like 39.53. That's this gap from over here back in November. So this was kind of just before the Trump pump.
The Trump pump.
So if it could find some support there, that could be a potential buy point. Again, though, I think a balanced approach right now is to wheel that MSTZ, and then you can accumulate IBIT. I know it's kind of hedging your bets, but you can release one once the direction is super clear. Once the direction is super clear. I probably wouldn't release the Bitcoin, but I would release the MSTZ hedge when Bitcoin really just starts to form a new uptrend. We still have lower highs, lower lows. This is called the decelerating trend, where you have a trend line right here, and then the trend line's getting steeper and then steeper to the downside. So just keep an eye out on those.
Let me run this by you. It's not financial advice, but if you want to do it, I would think you were smart. If you want to do what I'm about to say, I would think you were smart. It's not financial advice, but if I caught you doing it, I'd be like, this kid's going places. All right. Because I do think Bitcoin is going to go up long term, right? Like I think so, right? I'm selling covered calls to get into it. So that's how I've been building my position. Selling covered puts. Cash secure puts. Yeah. Right. Because you can't do that with real Bitcoin, right? But you can do that with the ETF.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think it's a potentially great way to wheel it. So what you do is, again, at that support level, 39.50, that could be the strike price to potentially sell puts on. And now tomorrow, it's probably not going to pay a lot, but let's say, like a month
next
from
week.
now.
Okay, a month from now.
Even then, it's not paying too much, but May 16th, you could sell the 39 strike cash secured put. It's not going to pay you a ton, but it's not nothing.
How much would I have to put up?
So you'd have to put up $3,900 and you'd get a guaranteed $132. You could get more if you time up that entry.
Yeah. But so it's that's like what? 0.1% or something like that. Yeah.
What's really nice about cash secured
0.5%. Yeah.
Here, what you can actually do on Thinkorswim is you can type in return on risk, and it tells you the amount you get paid on the cash secured put. So ROR over here, the 39 strike, you get a 3.85% return.
Oh, 3 times as far as premium is concerned?
Yep, 3.85% return on your money.
I was tripping. My math was way off. Yeah.
Basically, what's cool about that is it places your cash aside. So it's nice because you can always close that cash secured put if you ever need that cash for anything. And it makes it so that you don't overtrade in your portfolio.
Yeah, and then when you sell a cash secure put, one thing too, they hold the money that you would. So the brokerage is going to hold the money.
Yep.
Right. If by whatever strike price you pick. Okay, but they're going to hold the cash you put up to sell it, right? You put up the cash, but then you get paid a premium, which is like, but in that case, for that one, it'd be 3.9%. What he said. Right. So you get that, you get to put that in your pocket. You keep that no matter what. And when your strike price, this
is good.
When your strike price, okay, when the date comes that you pick for your put, if it's higher than that, then they just give you your money back. You keep the premium. You made money doing nothing, right? If it's lower, then if it's lower than your strike price, then you end up. They're going to take your money and they'll give you, the shares of the stuff. So now you own the shares. Basically, you're just agreeing to buy it at a certain date for a cheaper price.
Yep. You get paid to buy low and you get paid to make that commitment within that time frame. That's the key. And what's super nice about it is all it takes is one order and one execution. After that, you can just sit and chill. The broker does all the work for you. It'll buy the shares if it closes underneath that put. It'll just give you your cash back if it closes above the put.
And this is my favorite way to buy stock. And this is what Warren Buffett does too when he buys and when he sells, right? Because he's like he makes like he's known for doing this. He instead of just buying the stock, he sells cash secure puts at a price point where he would want to buy it at. This way, if it goes lower, then you end up buying it at a cheaper price or whatever price you wanted to buy it at. Say I like it, but I like it $10 cheaper. Right. Yep. Sell a put at that price, and if it hits that, then you own it. Yep. If not, you get your money back and you get to keep the premium. And that's why Warren Buffett does it, because he makes a whole bunch of money off the premium.
It's absolutely amazing. I used to buy options all the time in my first 5 years of trading. Yeah. I've been trading for 9 years, and I started to get a lot better, consistent cash flow from the market once you start selling options. Like, you're being the casino instead of the player, and you're doing it in a smart way.
It's one of the best money making strategies. You got to have a lot of money to make money off it, but it's one of the best money making strategies.
Yeah, that's literally pretty much the only drawback is that it just takes a higher amount of capital.
You got to have a lot of bread.
Obviously, the wheel strategy has its benefits and drawbacks. If you start selling covered calls and then the stock goes up too much, you get called away, so you miss out on upside gains. But, I think it's just a nice, steady way to make money.
I love it. I love it with my whole heart. Okay. Does Greg have any super chats or not?
Yeah. Any stocks? Next.
All right. No, Ethereum, man. Is it time to sell Ethereum? Is it time to short Ethereum?
This ties in with the Bitcoin analysis. It's just an ugly ass chart.
Is it time to fucking just short this bitch?
We just had a channel and now it's just breaking underneath the channel.
That's why I asked.
It's low basing. I gotta say, neutral / bearish. Sure, it could bounce, but even if it bounces, it has so much resistance coming ahead of it. It's just like the broad market. We're in a sell to rally type of environment.
Ethereum was going down, while Bitcoin was going up, while SPY was going up. Why wouldn't we just do a credit spread, a credit spread short the fucking ETF? It seemed like it's an easy fucking move.
On bounces, yes, it comes into that scenario
as soon as it bounces, boom, credit spread to short that bitch.
I like that because then your entry location is a lot better. This ties into where it's in a downtrend, but it's oversold. It's a tricky spot.
That's the problem. That's why you wouldn't want to do it right now.
Yeah, it's so tricky. Just like in an
look at the volume on the last few days of selling though.
Ugly. I mean,
that shit wants to drop more, bro. If it gets a bounce, I think I'm doing. What kind of? I'm gonna hit you up and ask you for advice on a short.
Hit me up for sure. I mean, it's just lower highs and lower lows, and we have a bearish pennant where the trend is prevailing to the downside, and we have low high, higher low, lower high, higher low, lower high. If it starts to break down, that's going to be the next leg lower. That's pretty much it.
You look like a beautiful fucking short, man. If we get a bounce on this bitch, some sort of credit spread,
and when
on
it bounces,
the ETF,
you want to like let it reject resistance. Let it show you that sellers are starting to step in, because sometimes if it bounces, sometimes it can just squeeze, you know?
Yeah.
And so you want to let it pump. Then once it starts to curl, use that curl as your area to set your risk, your stop loss. Or if you're doing a credit spread, it's a defined risk strategy. So you can hold it to max profit or to max loss.
All right. Well, listen, guys, if you want to learn more about this and other skills, so Greg is in our Victory Unit Discord. All right, the Victory Unit Discord. I have 3 courses in there. I got a free fat loss course. I got a free money mindset course called the Baller Mindset. People love it. Everybody loves it. But Greg's in there giving free stock advice too, right? Now, if you want to trade with Greg and I, right, then go in there and hit up Young Candlestick Greg and say, yo, I want to join Victory Trades. And he'll tell you more about Victory Trades. You get Greg's trade alerts straight to your phone every time he has a new trade, new option strategy, anything. And, you know, Greg has some trainings on how to trade options and stuff like that. And you can trade with us every morning. You know, I'm probably on there
3 out of 5 days, I'd say.
3 out of 5 days a week. Sometimes I have meetings in the morning, right? I can't jump on, but otherwise I'm trading the market with you guys. Listen, every morning, but Greg's in there. If I'm not in there, Greg will be in there, you know. And but 3 out of 5, some weeks I do the whole week. It depends on if I'm traveling or not, you know, but I'm definitely in there every week. And we trade more. I'm gonna be with you guys tomorrow, man.
It'll be so much
fun. Just hit up Greg if you want to join Victory Trades. Huh?
The live sessions are super chill because you can just hop in whenever I'm live, or if you can't make it, you got work or something, you can just hop out. So if we're congregating, come join us. If we're not congregating, you can always just tag me in the Discord, and I'm happy to help you out.
All right, y'all. Shout out to you, Greg. Holla at you. Peace. Then we got the super chats. I'm gonna run through them, then get back into Victory talking about the shit I was talking about before. Yo, hold on. Right before we get to super chats, run the intro. How long is just run the intro shit. Give me a minute to pee. I got a Victory pee in the Victory bathroom. All right. Muy baño para hombre. All right, let's get into these super chats. Let's just run through them.
We got to work on your Spanish. All right, we have Alex. Brandon, did tea therapy boost your dopamine? What other benefits did you see? Also, how would you quickly master real estate sales if you had to?
All right, that's a compound question. So testosterone is people with higher testosterone have higher dopamine levels. That's just that. I read that in a book called a great book that's just all you read. It was the book of the week months ago called The Molecule of More. Right. So the more testosterone you have, the more dopamine you typically have. You know. So there's a relation with it. There's a relation with it. I haven't tested my dopamine levels. I'm gonna be honest with you, but I feel better. I have more energy with testosterone therapy. Testosterone replacement therapy. But then again, you know, I'm old. I'm 42, right? So like you, if you're fucking young, you don't need to be on it. But if you're in your late 30s, you should get your testosterone levels tested, because all men, I don't care what kind of people say, oh, it's because you're on keto. Listen, there's more people on testosterone therapy who eat carbs than are on keto, right? You know, no matter who you are, no matter what your diet is, all human males, your testosterone is going to start dropping at age 30. Father time is going to catch up with you, man. Get your shit tested. And if it's low, man, you can really raise your quality of your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really raised my quality of life. Because I remember I was watching the election that year, the first time, the Trump Biden election. I was like, these old ass motherfuckers are doing rallies and debates and going to fucking 5 cities in one day, campaigning and shit. These motherfuckers are almost 80. And I'm tired if I got to do 1 or 2 things. And then I went to the doctor. The only thing that came back was the test was low. You know what I'm saying? And it just happens with age. People always come up with, oh, you do this because of this. It's just, maybe I'm just fucking old, man. There's a reason there's not a lot of pro athletes over 40, right? If I was in the NBA, I'd be the oldest motherfucker in the NBA. LeBron's about to turn 40, but he's a freak of nature. You know what I'm saying? You know, you see the oldest NFL player right now is Aaron Rodgers. The Jets don't want him. The New York Jets don't want his old ass. Father time is undefeated. If you're in your late 30s, 40s, or beyond, get your testosterone tested. Father time is undefeated. How would I master real estate sales quickly? Sales is sales. If I had to master, but one thing about sales is you want to really know your product. So I would whatever market I was in, I would learn everything about that specific market, all the homes, all the problems that specific homes have, the natural disasters that they have, what the termite situation is like in that region, what the natural disaster shit is like in that region. I would know that region like the back of my fucking hand. So one of my first mentors, he was a gay real estate agent. He sold to straight people too, but he was gay, right? And but he was a real estate broker. And I worked for him for a little bit during college. And he used to ride around on a moped. He's gay, right? He used to ride around on a moped all through DC. But the reason it was dope about it would take other agents mad long to see new houses and open houses. He was zipping through pet traffic. Woo! Zipping through traffic. He had to look through parking. He can put his gay sickle anywhere. You know what I'm saying? He could put the gay moped anywhere. And he could see like mad places in one day. Where other agents who were driving around, they had to look for parking in DC. If you know anything about DC parking, it is not what's up. And DC traffic as well. And that was one of his advantages. Even though he had a whip, he had a BMW 7 Series. You know, when it just came at 745. All right, I know I'm not supposed to do this, but I'll tell you a funny story. He had just got the 745. And he was like, yo, Brandon, I need you to take this to this place for something, right? I was like, all right, yeah, no problem, man. Right, mind you, I'm hood back then. I'm wearing like I'm dressed like the Saint Lunatics, right? It's 2004. I'm dressed like Nelly. I got a big ass fitted cap, a fucking throwback jersey or some shit, baggy ass jeans. And yo, give me the keys, man. So I'm in the 745, man. I think I'm the man, BMW. I put all the windows down, all 4 of them motherfuckers. Start blasting the radio. I'm driving around DC. Everybody looking at me. I'm like, yo, this car gets a lot of attention. And everybody's looking at me. And then when I finally get to the destination, I come out. I was like, this motherfucker had the gay flag on the car. I'm whipping this shit, trying to be seen, taking the long route all through the city, bumping the music loud as hell, like I'm just the proudest gay motherfucker in DC. Anyway, yeah, so that's what I would do. So let's get the next one.
We have Nav. How much time should I allocate to my business versus self-improvement? Self-improvement meaning like reading, mindset stuff, gym, meditation, etc.
Yo, meditation, I do 20-minute sessions once a day. 2 20-minute sessions twice a day. So 2 20-minute sessions, boom, that's 40 minutes. I read for 60 to 90 minutes per day, right? So you know, depending on how much time I have, sometimes 60, sometimes 90. On real busy days, I won't allocate actual reading time. I'll just listen to audiobooks while I'm walking around. Like I have headphones on everywhere I go all the time. And I'm almost never listening to music, even in the gym. I'm listening to an audiobook or something, right? So you can, you can do it during that time as well. If you can't have a dedicated reading session, you can just do audiobooks. So anytime I always have headphones on, like everywhere I go all the time. And I'm always listening to an audiobook, not motherfucking, people be thinking I'm in the gym listening to Lil Baby or some shit, but now I'm listening to Brian Tracy. I'm listening to Lil Tracy. You feel me? And I mean, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like 90 minutes of studying. Me, I do 40 minutes total each day of meditation, and that's it. The rest is getting money. And the gym is 1 hour. There you go. And if you ain't got time to read, use some audiobooks. Get you some Lil Tracy audiobooks, man. Start bumping that shit like it's the new, like it's instead of listening to Cringe Lamar or whatever the fuck you kids are listening to, man, need to listen to some Brian Tracy. All right, what else? What else we got?
We have Mike. Yo, Brandon, what are your thoughts on carnivore diet?
People ask me about the carnivore diet all the time because carnivore diet it's like Keto's crazy brother. You know what I'm saying? It's like Keto's wacky brother. Like you got one responsible brother, that's the ketogenic diet. Then you got the little brother who want to be a rock star or some shit. that's the carnivore diet. And a lot of people have a lot of people, they talk about the crazy benefits they got from it. And I'm not trying to negate any of their benefits, and I'm not talking bad about the ketogenic diet, but all the benefits those people say they got from carnivore, I've got them all from keto. So I haven't felt compelled to restrict my diet even more. I like eating vegetables. There's something about, I don't know, to me, it's just everything I've read, and I don't know everything, right? And I could be wrong, but everything I read, vegetables are good for you, right? So I eat a lot of vegetables, you know what I'm saying? I like a lot of green leafy vegetables, and it works on the ketogenic diet. I eat some fruit, and it works on the ketogenic diet. It's good. You get antioxidants. I get my fiber from the vegetables. I get my some fiber from the fruit, and I get antioxidants from the berries. There's the berries you can eat. Berries are really the only fruit you can eat on keto. And I eat berries every day. I eat fucking green leafy vegetables, kale, spinach, lettuce, or even like broccoli every day. And I don't know, I like it. You know what I'm saying? But the carnivore camp will tell you that vegetables aren't healthy for you. They're like bad for you. And I've heard people say that. I haven't read the literature to support that. And so maybe I'm just ignorant. I'm willing to admit that I'm ignorant. But what I have read is that, for the most part, kale seems to be good for you. You know what I'm saying? But, I'm open to being wrong about that. But I just haven't felt compelled to restrict my diet any further. I'm super happy with keto. Super excited about it. All right. But those who are, if you're eating a carnivore diet, you're probably going to be in ketosis. Right. So it's like, that's why they're related. I mean, most definitely, you're not getting almost any, you're not getting any glucose or carbohydrates, so you're probably in ketosis. I mean, unless people say if you eat too much protein, there's something called gluconeogenesis where the excess protein will convert into glycogen or glucose. I have not experienced that ever. Right. I wore a continuous glucose monitor for a month once. No matter how much meat I ate, I never, or how much protein I got, it never spiked my glucose. So that just hasn't been my experience. All right. Let's get into the rest of the lessons I wish I knew when I was 20. Hey, before I get into these lessons, if you're ready to grow your online fitness business, I got a free ebook called The 10 Commandments of Online Training. Before I get into the rest of these lessons, if you're ready to grow your online fitness business, I got a free ebook called The 10 Commandments of Online Training. It will really break down step by step what you need to learn to grow your online fitness business, right? If you want to, if you love fitness, you love helping people accomplish their goals, or you want to help people accomplish your goals, this is the book you need to read. It's 100% free, and it'll show you how to grow your online fitness business, even if you don't have a lot of experience, even if you're not certified, even if you don't have a big following, even with a small following, right? I have students who have made, who make thousands of dollars per month from online training. Obviously, you have a big follower and it's easier, right? But you know, if you're interested in this at all, download that book. It's free, 100% free. All right, links in the description. Okay. All right. 29. Oh, okay. So 28. So earlier I said, don't, your emotions are your responsibility, right? But also do not, another thing I wish I knew when I was in my 20s is you're not responsible for other people's emotions, right? Motherfuckers will always try to tell you, oh, you made me feel like this and that's why I behaved like that, or you did this or you didn't do that. And I'm not telling you not to give a fuck about other people, but I'm telling you to don't let them scapegoat you, right? It's like, no, you got to take responsibility for your emotions, right? If you made a mistake, apologize for it, right? Try to make it right. But sometimes you just do what you think is right. People feel a certain way about it. And if you feel like you did was right and they try to fucking make you feel guilty because you made it feel the way, fuck them. Fuck them. Right. So what example do I want to give? So I had a mentor, and this dude was older than me. He was a mentor, good dude. And he was having a birthday party, and it was in DC, a big birthday party, right? He's like, yo, you got to come through to the birthday party. I was living in New York at the time. And I was like, yo, I can't make it, man. I got to work. This is back when I was working multiple jobs. When I had 4 jobs, I was working 80 hours a week, you know, to try to take care of my family. My father had just recently killed himself. I'm taking care of my family. I was like, nah, man, I got to work. I can't get out of work. You know what I'm saying? Even if I could, I wouldn't, right? I got to work. I got responsibilities, you know, but happy birthday, homie. And this motherfucker was like super mad at me for not coming to his birthday party. And I was like, what kind of girl shit is this? As you may have guessed, he's a homosexual, right? And I'm not. You probably guessed that when I said he made a big deal about his birthday, but he really tried to make me feel guilty about it. Man, as much as I've helped you and you couldn't even show up for my birthday party. And I was like, yeah, I don't need this shit. And I just never talked to him again. I was like, I just don't need this shit. Yeah, I'm not responsible for your own emotions. I got shit to do, right? You know, and also I would have been hurting myself and my family by telling my boss, hey man, fuck what you talking about. I know I need this job to take care of my family, but I got to go to a gay birthday party, right? You know, like I would have put myself and my family in a bad situation, right? He didn't realize or care about this. All he says is just how bad I am and how I made him feel. And I was like, yo, listen, I'm not responsible for your emotions, playboy. You know what I'm saying? And I was I'm out, you know? Also, once my sister, I have 2 sisters, right? And my older sister, she yelled at me once for something. And I found, and she wasn't even correct, right? She was made some assumption and she was like yelling at me. And I'm like, oh, no. I don't need this. I don't need this. Because first of all, she was wrong, right? So I couldn't have been responsible for her emotions because everything I did was wrong, right? And I mean, everything she thought was wrong. And she found out she was wrong, and she was still like, for whatever reason, she was still mad. I was like, yeah, that's not my responsibility. Like, you can't take responsibility for other people's emotions because most people have very little control over their emotions. Most people have very little control over their own emotions. And this is a bonus hack. This is not one of the fucking 40 that I had planned, but you know what? Let's make it. Let's make it. That brings me to number 30. The 30 things I wish I knew. Number 30 of the things I wish I knew when I was 20. You can control your emotions, right? So you're not responsible for other people's emotions. Don't. You have to be responsible for yours. So how do you do that? How do you control your emotions? Well, there's 3 ways to control your emotions. One is with your environment, right? So if you go to a different place, a different location, right, you're going to feel different in different locations. Or like, for example, if you're on the beach, you're probably going to feel different than if you were in a war zone, right? You know, like just changing the environment. Or a more subtle example is, you ever like clean up your room or your house and then you just feel a little better in there, right? Your environment can affect your emotions. Your environment can affect your emotions, but not even just your geographic location environment, but also the people you're around, right? Emotions are contagious, right? And as much as you want to do your best to not let outside events or people affect your emotions, it's easier if you cultivate your circle better, right? So for example, if a baby walks into a room, you know, or a little kid runs into a room all happy playing with some toys or something, everybody, you ever see everybody light up, you know, or a happy dog run into a room, everybody light up. Also, when somebody comes into a room all fucking mean or mad, he changes the energy in the whole room. Nobody even got to say nothing. You can just see his face, and then the whole energy in the room changes, right? Emotions can be contagious, right? So it's very important. And there's studies to back this up, tons of studies to back up that emotions can be contagious. Right? So it's not, so you got to make sure if anybody's bringing negativity around you, fuck them. That's why that's why in my other story, when I heard my sister, I haven't spoken to her since that day, right? Because I don't need that shit. I don't need her trying to fuck up my emotions. You know what I'm saying? My old mentor, you know what I'm saying? Because he's mad because I didn't go to his gay birthday. You know, like, I don't need that shit. I don't need motherfuckers trying to come at me, man. You know, it's like I cultivate my energy, right? I cultivate the people around me. You know, I have a very low tolerance for the bullshit. You know, motherfuckers bringing negative energy, family members, friends, fucking pets. You come around me with the bullshit, you gotta go. You gotta go. I'm not with the shit. The next way to control your emotions is, the first way to control your emotions is your environment. And I mean, both geographically and the people you surround yourself with. The next way to control your emotions is your physiology, right? The way you move, right? The way you hold yourself, right? If you see somebody who's depressed, what do they look like? A bitch, right? But if you do this long enough, you'll start feeling the emotions, right? So motion creates emotion, and there's studies to back this up. The way you hold your body, the way your posture, the way you walk, even the tonality of your voice, it's not necessary. It's not only is it a reflection of your emotions, but it also controls your emotions, right? If you start laughing as much as possible, you will start to feel happy, even if it's fake laugh at first, right? If you go to the gym, you're going to feel better, right? I used to keep a trampoline on my balcony. If I really don't feel good, it's time to get on the trampoline, you know. Back in my office in New York, I used to make, when I didn't like the energy in the office, when we all work together, like, all right, everybody stop. Got to get on a trampoline, because you can't smile unless you want a trampoline, man. So motion creates emotion. Watch how you carry yourself, how you talk, you know, how you move. If you start to behave in a certain way, as if you had the emotion, you'll start to feel that way, right? And the most important way to control your emotion is focus. Whatever you focus on, you're going to feel, whether it's real or not, right? If you got a pet right now, imagine your pet walks into the room slowly, though, like you could tell something ain't right. He walks in the room, he looks at you from the ground, he's shaking a little bit, he goes, and then crawls over and start having a seizure, right? All right, now stop imagining. His pet is fine. It was pretend. It was make believe. Some of y'all got sad just thinking about it. It wasn't even real, right? Whatever you focus on, you're going to feel, even if it's not real. Even if it's not real, you're going to feel it, right? It's very important to understand. So we need to focus. We need to change our focus to everything we're in a way that's going to affect our emotions in the way we want to feel, right? So if you sad because there's something you want to buy, but there's not enough money, instead of saying, yo, I ain't got enough money, say, yo, I need to get more money, right? Because one is going to make you feel different. You're like, man, well, I ain't got the money for that. You're going to feel like a bitch, right? But if you say, I need to get more money, it's the same thing, but the focus is different. Instead of focus on the lack, it's focus on what the fuck you gonna do about it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's like, oh man, I want to build my following. Man, I ain't got enough followers. Like, no, I need to get more followers, right? One sounds like a motherfucker waving his white flag like a bitch. The other one sounds like a motherfucker who's ready to go. Who would you bet on? The motherfucker say, oh man, I ain't got enough. Or the motherfucker says, yo, I got to find a way to get enough. Who'd you bet on? Right? And that change of focus, of perception, will change how you feel, change your emotions. And just anything you think about. Think about the positive things. Think about the good things. Think about the things you have instead of the things you lack. Think about Instead of thinking about the disadvantages you have, think about what you can do instead of thinking about what you can't do, you know? And you will feel different. All right. The next thing I wish I knew when I was 20 is confidence comes from competence. A lot of times people will tell you, man, just be confident. Just be confident. Yeah, that's dumb advice, right? Because if you are confident in something that you don't have skills in it, right? Like that's like schizophrenic. Right. That's like crazy shit. You know, like I never did no plumbing. I never plumbed nothing. You know what I'm saying? I ain't a Mario brother, but so why should I have confidence in doing my own plumbing? I shouldn't. If I had confidence that I could do plumbing, and I've never even seen a wrench in person, use wrenches to plumb shit, right? I don't know. Maybe. That's how much I know about plumbing. I don't even know what the tools are to use to plumb. But if I had confidence in my plumbing abilities, that would be fucking crazy. Motherfucker, I haven't looked under a sink in years. I don't know shit about it. Why should I have confidence in it? Right. But if I went to, if you know, let's say my daddy was a plumber, his daddy was a plumber, right? And he used to take me on plumbing jobs with me when I was a kid, and we used to plumb together. And you have to like use his plumbing tools. I had to hand him his plumbing tools when he was plumbing shit, right? And then I went to plumbing school, valedictorian of plumbing school, man. And I had all this fucking competence. Then it would make a lot of sense for me to be confident in that regard, right? Confidence comes from competence. But the reason most of you guys don't have an overall confidence in yourself is because you haven't shown yourself to be competent in anything, right? You're breaking promises that you make to yourself every day. You're never doing the stuff that you say you're going to do. You're never following the plans. You say you're going to do a diet, you don't do it. You say you're going to start working out, you don't do it, right? You say you're going to start accomplishing these goals and working on them, but you don't do it. You are showing yourself incompetence. Now, you have displayed incompetence, so why should you be confident in yourself, right? But once you start keeping the promises you make to yourself day in and day out, you start building a track record of it. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, a track record of you hitting your goals, of you building habits that will serve you and what you're trying to accomplish. Then what happens is once you have a track record, you're like, yeah, I can do this. If I say I'm gonna do something, I do it. You start to believe in yourself, and that gives you a kind of confidence you can't fake. You can't fake that kind of confidence. You won't even have to tell anybody about it. They'll know it when they see it. They'll feel it. They'll feel the energy, right? That's why it's so important to start tracking your habits and tracking your goals. And link in the description, there's something called the Victory Vision Planner that I put together. In the description, I have something called the Vision. In the description, I have something called the Victory Vision Planner, right? And in there's a habit tracker where you can start tracking your habits. You can set up whatever habits you want, and you can start tracking them, right? And you can plan out your goals, right? And you can start tracking your progress in it. And there's a video in it that explains how to use it. And the beauty of that is once you start having a record of you displaying competence, you know, then you'll start to really believe in yourself in a different kind of way, man. You really start to have more confidence in yourself, right? All right, so we got to, I think we're on, I added one. All right, whatever. Let me answer these super chats, and then we got 10 more to go, Nima, and we're going to get them on Wednesday, the next 10. What we got?
You mean Tuesday?
Tuesday, yeah.
All right, so we have Kels with another $5, but he asked this question already. I'm assuming he missed it when you answered it. So it's up to you if you want to answer the whole, I'm an online trainer.
Yeah, just because Trainerized Pay, you can't accept it everywhere, right? So I just use Whoop as a payment processor, but I don't do any training in Whoop. And I have clients all over Earth, everywhere except Antarctica. Yeah, so far. If you like a penguin farmer or something, and you're trying to get in shape, holler at me. I'd like to have an online client in every continent. Yeah, if you a penguin farmer, polar bear hunter, some of that nature, you in Antarctica, I love to holler at you. I give you a deal because you live out there. All right.
And then we have Loney. I have 1 year until I graduate with my BBA in accounting. I'll then take the CPA exams. I'm 21 and live with my dad. I want to move out maybe a year after working full time. What do you think?
Sure, man. If that's what you want to do, man, it sounds like a good plan. it sounds like you. I like it. If you want to, honestly, I moved out of my parents' crib when I was 13. I got sent away to military school. I never moved back then. But I don't know. There's a part of me that kind of wish I could have stayed with them longer, stack some bread. I wish I had that opportunity. Stack some bread without paying rent. It would have been lit. All right, guys. This has been another episode of Victory Talk Podcast. Yo, if you ready to grow your online fitness business, there's a free ebook in the description in the comments called The 10 Commandments of Online Training. It's free. It'll give you a whole game plan on how to grow your online fitness business, even if you don't have a big following, even if you're not certified, even if you don't have a lot of experience. Click the link in the description and I'll holler at y'all. Peace.